probably one of the most important things, to actually forgive, but not forget. Whatever happened to you in the past, in the present, in the future, it's always apparent for most people to remember the people that kind of screwed them over, the people that were there, that weren't there, because for most people, that's like your mental clarity, or that's your peace of mind. Even if you got screwed over by an ex, a friend, a family member, maybe you don't talk to certain people. Maybe you don't talk to certain family members that you thought you were close to. Maybe you don't talk to certain friends that maybe you've known for years, and all of a sudden you guys just break up and you guys stop talking to each other. For most of us, especially as we get older, you don't realize like how many people you actually lose, especially when you want to do your own thing, or you just want to be your own person, you want to have your own success, and you don't do the same things that you used to do when you were younger because it's just not who you are. And a lot of us grow up with like a different set of standards. Like maybe some of us don't drink, don't smoke, or maybe you do. And now you want to kind of like get away from that, or maybe you don't party anymore. And now you want to kind of get away from that field because now you don't party. For most of us, we probably don't need to break relationships, or we need to break families, but you need to set boundaries, because those boundaries are important, because you don't really want that bad type of energy coming back towards you. And you don't want to act like the same way you used to act, because that's when you first met them. With anything, anytime you break a relationship, anytime you set boundaries, you need that forgiveness for your peace of mind. That's really going to help you with releasing any type of resentment you have, anger you have towards that individual, or if you want revenge, because that's probably one of the worst things you could do, because God, karma, and the universe, they look at that, and then eventually you get hit even harder because you did something that was revengeful and spiteful. It's not really we're excusing what they did to hurt you, or what happened, or just pretend like nothing ever happened and they didn't screw you over somehow. But the best part is like you're not holding a grudge, you're plotting some type of weird payback. Maybe they cheated on you and now you want to do the same thing, or maybe they hurt you in some way, so now you want to get back at them the other way. We choose forgiveness, especially as we get older, because that's really that mental clarity, that peace that protects yourself in the future from anything that's bad. Think about it like this. If you touch a hot stove, you're ultimately going to get burned, right? But you end up forgiving yourself for the mistake, because nobody wants to touch a hot stove. You might have done it by accident. But then you definitely remember next time to not touch the hot stove, or to shut it off and then wait before you start cleaning the stove again. It's the same thing with people. You can let go of the pain easily, but you don't have to ignore the lesson. You have to learn from the lesson. There's a few key reasons why that mindset is really important, especially as you get older, because some people can be really miserable and then take out their resentment from all their past experiences out on you, and you wouldn't even know that until you met them and you had a conversation with them, and then you just felt not good, you felt ill, and maybe you had some type of bad energy vibes coming off of them, and now it's onto you, and now it's affecting your mental clarity. So that forgiveness is going to free you from carrying any heavy emotional bagging you have, or that you might carry later on in the day, or with other people in your relationships, friends that you actually care about, your family that you actually care about. And it's not really like you're doing it for the other person. You're just doing it for yourself. Next, you really want to prevent all like those repeated mistakes that you made, so you learn a lesson from it, because remembering what happened kind of helps you avoid all those red flags that you accidentally hit, and avoid any type of similar situation that you might get into the future. And then another important one is it's really going to empower you, because every single lesson that you learn in this life, even the most painful ones, even the ones that really do suck, and you're always questioning yourself why you went through it, those are the ones that are really going to make you wiser, stronger, and more resilient in the end to take on the next situation or the next problem. That's why as you get older, you just deal with a lot more shit, because when you're younger and you get hit with one problem, it might seem like the world's after you, but then you grow resilient because you get over it, or you just figure out ways to cope. As you get older, you just have to deal with more problems, but then you figure out how to deal with those problems, you become more resilient, and it's just back and forth. But you just learn to not repeat those lessons. A lot of misconceptions when it comes to being able to forgive, but not forget people who screwed you or did you dirty in the past. And one of them is, just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. That's not what we're here for. That's not what we're doing. Forgiveness is ultimately about your peace. It's not restoring any type of relationship, not with the friends, the family, the strangers that screwed you over. That's for your own peace of mind. Another one is, if you don't forget, you're holding on to a grudge. That's a lie. Holding on to the grudge is going to make you angry inside. It's going to make you reevaluate that situation. Think about it over and over again. So by the time you hit bed, or you're just alone by yourself, all those thoughts are going to start to come back to you. And then at the end of the day, it's like you're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else around you. Remembering that lesson, whatever lesson it was, is just going to make you really wiser in the end, so you don't repeat it. Another one was that forgiveness makes makes you weak, which is ridiculous. It takes more strength and courage in your life to actually forgive people that screwed you over, said some hateful things, spiteful things, than if you didn't. It's so easy to get ticked off, to get triggered, to stay angry, especially as you get older because you have to deal a lot more shit in your life. It's way harder to let go of like those particular situations though. And I can't even tell you how many times where you just meet people who are not as positive as you and you just have to take and deal with their shit. But at the end of the day, if you show them how positive and how much of a good person you are, they take it and then they kind of rethink their own life and why they did that situation to you. Some like tips I would probably say to forgive but not forget, and how to actually do this is, one, you have to acknowledge whatever feelings that's really built inside, whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, joy. Don't bottle up your emotions because you're just going to make it worse for yourself, and then you're just going to explode one of these days, maybe on people that you love, maybe on your friend on a random Sunday, maybe on your animals and pets. It's better that you do certain things like probably write it down. Probably one of the best ways, whatever emotion you have. Maybe you got a hateful email from your boss or some type of coworker. Instead of sending another hateful one back, probably better off writing it down in a journal that's not going to be sent to anybody. Talking it to a close friend that you know you could trust, that's not going to blurt out your business, or even just say it to yourself out loud. That's way better than you just keeping it inside to your soul. Next one, you would really have to just decide to forgive. It's a conscious decision. It's not anybody else's decision. It's your own conscious decision. It doesn't mean whatever happened to you, you're saying to yourself, it was okay, because it probably wasn't. Because now you're overthinking it, and now you're watching this video. Now you're thinking to yourself, why did I deserve that? It really just means you're letting go of the pain, whatever they did to you, however they did it to you, and forgetting about it. Next thing, you would really have to just learn the lesson from it. And I think one of the best ways is to recognize it, because I feel like sometimes life can be like a video game. You go through these specific life lessons for a reason, because it's going to teach you something somehow. And you don't realize it until it's 5-10 years later down the road, what it actually taught you and how valuable it is to you later on when you're in that specific position. But now in that case, you can tell yourself, okay, now what boundaries do I need to set for my future so I don't have to go through the same situation, which is really important, and how you can actually protect yourself so you don't have to deal with that same ridiculous, stupid stuff in the future. Next one, you really just have to set boundaries, because it's really okay to distance yourself from people who hurt you. And I'm talking about anybody. That means people that you thought were close in your life, people that you thought were very close, cousins, sisters, daughters, brothers, uncles, aunts, maybe some of your best friends that's maybe not your best friend anymore, strangers, coworkers. It's important to set those boundaries, and it's okay to distance yourself from those people even after you forgive them. You can always enjoy their company or like them from way afar, just not close to you, because obviously they're affecting who you are as a good person. Another one is, really, you can't let any past control you, because a lot of us get tied into that, where we're always reevaluating the past and what we should have done or what we could have said. That past wasn't to make you probably bitter or more hateful or more spiteful, or it was probably to make you learn some type of lesson so you don't have to deal with it, or maybe that you're growing some type of resilience because of it. And one of the best ways you could utilize it is use it as a way to kind of grow, not as a reason to close yourself off. Do not ever use that as a reason to close yourself off for other people, for future people, because you can always make new friends. You can always have future friends that seem like family members or that you've known for so many years. But if the minute you start closing yourself off, you'll never meet those people, especially near in the future. And then if you're really not afraid, I think the most logical and ethical thing to do, if you don't want to go through everything else, is probably just speak to a therapist and counselor. A lot of people hate on this, or they think it's like a bad thing, or they just look weird because now they're telling other people that they're going to a therapist. Sometimes you really just need somebody to just listen to you with an unbiased opinion, who's not going to judge you, and just hear it as it is and tell you how it is. And that's very important, because sometimes when you speak to people that you already know, they're already going to judge you based on how you say it, your demeanor, who you are, because they already know you. Versus if you were to go to somebody like a therapist or a counselor, they don't know you, so they're just going to tell you how it is. Forgive, but don't forget, it's not about being cold. We're not being bitter. It's just about healing for yourself mentally, for that mental piece of clarity, because all of us deserve to kind of just move forward and not think about whatever hurt us in the past or whoever did us dirty in the past. Ultimately, the best thing you can do for yourself is to protect your own mental clarity, mental peace, and your heart from all that negativity and all that bad stuff that's going to happen. Because more of it's going to happen eventually, but you're just going to grow stronger from it. A lot of us in this life deserve more than carrying those old, stupid wounds that we keep replaying in our head. And the minute you seek thankfulness and forgiveness, and to understand to set those boundaries, that's the minute you really start enjoying and appreciating life to its full extent.